231 million years ago, the first terrestrial vertebrates known as dinosaurs appeared on Earth. For the next 166 million years, these titanic creatures dominated the supercontinent known as Pangaea. Then, without warning, they all disappeared. 65 million years later, scientists began uncovering the fossilized remains of the dinosaurs, finding them to be not only large, but also graceful, diverse, and even majestic. And, without question, the mightiest and most terrifying of these monsters was the fearsome tyrant king, Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Squeeze me! I'm sure your T-Rex was a certifiable, bad, hardcore motheritude of all prehistoric monstrosities. But let's not kid ourselves. The real bad mother of the Mesozoic was the Carnotaurus.
Oh, come on. Are you serious with that? I am a T-Rex. I'm 40 feet long and the most marketable dinosaur ever.
I am the Carnotaurus. I am nastier and I got little bull horns to show you I mean business.
I make side view mirrors look like the coolest thing ever.
I am the reason it was called Countdown to Extinction. Roar! Roar! Roar!
Oh, hey guys. You're playing with your toy dinosaurs?
Tower Girl! We were engaging in a theoretical debate over the scientific merits between two apex predator theropods of the late Cretaceous.
But you're actually playing with toy dinosaurs.
Visual aids, of course.
Ooh, can I be the raptor?
Sure, if you want to be wrong. That Tower Girl is not a velociraptor. This is a Deinonychus.
Actually, this is a dromaeosaurus. They modeled the raptors in the movie off these guys, but I still call them raptors.
Boy, you just got schooled. Shut up, Reese. It's just chaos.
Look, if you two want to settle your petty debate over which dinosaur is better, why don't you settle this like men?
You're right, Reese. TAP-G, I challenge you to a versus showdown.
Oh, so that's a no on the dueling pistols.
Nope. It's time for a versus. The Jurassic Park River Adventure at Universal's Islands of Adventure
versus Dinosaur at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Alright, come on down, get your tickets here. It's time for another round of versus. Two rides compete, only one wins. First challenge, the ride vehicles. Which better serve the attraction, Jurassic Park's rafts or the Dino Institute's time rovers?
I think I'll get us started off with the wonderfully yellow rafts of the Jurassic Park River Adventure. Now, let's just talk raw statistics for a second. These ride vehicles hold up to about 23 people max. And, let's see, given the dispatch statistics, they can have up to 2,760 people an hour. So, what about those time rovers?
Well, we can fit a lot of people in there. We can fit about 2,160 people an hour, which means about, let's see, how they carry the 5 and divided by X, about 12 people per vehicle.
Well, it seems we win mostly on raw statistics alone.
That's just statistics.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying.
But what about the vehicles themselves in telling the story?
Well, I mean, the raft, you're on a river ride, so the raft really does kind of work.
Right. Protecting you against those velociraptors that can jump into your boat and eat you all whole. Right.
Well,
meanwhile, over at the Dino Institute with these awesome CTX rovers, which are essentially the hydraulic-powered Jeeps that you have over at the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland. What these stand out from any other vehicle, Disney Universal property, is that this hydraulic system allows them to interact with the story. They can speed up, they can slow down, they can stop. Like, for example, when you stop at the feet of the Carnotaurus, your vehicle stops, so it lets that anger and tension build up. So it actually really helps in serving the story. Whereas if you're in a boat propelled by water jets...
Okay, it can be sped up and slowed down, only if the water does. And if everything kind of flows or stops, you'll be out of sync and the story just won't work. Well then.
Yeah. I think the point goes to Dinosaur, don't you agree?
I agree. Point to Dinosaur.
the winner, Dinosaur.
You got lucky.
That's chaos.
Round 2, the queue. Which attraction has the better queue? Go.
Well, when you enter the dinosaur ride over at Disney's Animal Kingdom, you're immediately thrust into the Dino Institute, which is essentially made to look like a really cheesy old, let's say, Washington, D.C. museum. You go past murals and some glued-on models and a lot of theoretics and a lot of espousing about theorizing how dinosaurs lived, plus that really cool Carnotaur skeleton with Bill Nye the Science Guy's narration, because Bill Nye the Science Guy, argument invalid. It immerses you into this idea that museums are of the past and they're outdated, and that you're going to go into one step closer, actually going to see these real dinosaurs and really experiencing something much more wild. It's a very strong contrast of old and boring to new and exciting. So you really have to give it props for getting that setup going.
Okay, alright, I can kind of see that. Now, Jurassic Park River Adventure's queue, it does keep you outdoor, which keeps you in the nice lush environments of Jurassic Park. As you go along, you will see televisions up above that have greetings from a couple of people you don't really know too well. They talk a little bit about John Hammond's vision, and then, if you wait long enough, you'll actually see John Hammond himself welcome you to the park, talk about how excited he is to have his vision finally come to life after a few mishaps. And, you kind of get a little bit of an introduction to what you'll be doing. So, it's not too bad for all of that. I feel like if you don't know Jurassic Park all that well, there is a chance you may be just a little bit lost, which kind of works against River Adventure. And if the line is not that long, you can actually skip right past this. That's right, you can actually skip past the introduction to the ride that you're about to go on. Guess that doesn't really work out in its favor, but it is a nice queue.
At least in Dinosaur, you can stop and watch that video with Felicia Rashad and Wallace Langham and really get a feel for the story you're about to go for. So, yeah, I think we know who pulls out of this one.
Point goes to Dinosaur.
Winner, Dinosaur!
Mommy's very angry.
Round 3, the dinosaurs. Which ride features the best dinosaurs in terms of both technology and diversity?
Ha! Alright. I mean, look at the dinosaurs that you have on this ride. You start the ride by seeing Ultrasaurus. Isn't that so cool? And then you have the Sciaticasaurus, which, pretty cool too. You got the peaceful lumbering Stegosaurus. Then you get to see the Parasaurolophus. They're pretty big. They're pretty cool. And then further along the ride, you get to see the Compsognathus kind of tugging between the bloody shirt. That's really kind of cool. And then you get to see the Velociraptor, and then the Dilophosaurus that spits a little bit of quote-unquote venom at you. And then the ride concludes by having the grand epic king himself, Tyrannosaurus Rex. How much more iconic can you get than that? What does Dinosaur have?
Let's see, Styracosaurus, Compsognathus, Carnotaurus, Alioramus, Paleocenawa, Parasaurolophus, Velociraptor, Saltosaurus, Pterodactylus, and the Iguanodon for a total of 10 dinosaurs.
10 different species?
10 different species.
Well, in terms of pure volume, you may win out, but ours are iconic. Who's actually seen that movie Dinosaur? Really.
On the other hand, too, it's a lot cooler to have less marketable dinosaurs, so that way it still looks like dinosaurs and it feels like you're really in the jungle instead of just prancing about your models of the Stegosaurus, Triceratops, and yes, Brontosaurus, which I'm using for this cheesy example.
Fair enough. Now, I feel like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park River Adventure, they are iconic. They are great. Their movement, not so much. Weather has not been kind to these dinosaurs. Keep in mind, this is a completely outdoor ride in the elements, in the hurricanes, in the sun. And while they have recently gone back and touched some of them up, they really didn't do much to repair the movement.
There's one big turnoff for me, and actually two big turnoffs for some of these dinosaurs on this ride. One of them is the Ultrasaurus at the very beginning. Cool, that's awesome and everything, but unlike some of the other water rides where they darken it so you can't see underneath, you can very easily see a foot into this water and see a grate right under this Ultrasaurus stomach. So something's off there.
maybe they're just highlighting how great he is. Yeah.
And then you have one of the raptors that you see when you're going up the incline in the water treatment facility. And when you're going up the incline, you can actually see the raptor model gliding along some railing to make his jump scare, which doesn't really work. So, and then you compare the technology in Dinosaur over Animal Kingdom, and you see, even for 1998, these are very lifelike movements a lot of them have. I still have nightmares about that one Carnotaur running in the background. I don't know if they still have it or not, or if I just imagined it or what, but man, it just gets me chills just thinking about it. Yeah, it's a bit of a cop-out with the static image of the compy jumping over your vehicle and the still, Pterodactylus, but all in all, I mean, just one look at that Carnotaurus, and that's pretty awesome. And and I honestly think that beats out the T-Rex at the end of the ride, which is their most impressive dinosaur.
Yeah, I suppose in that case, point goes to Dinosaur.
Winner, Dinosaur!
Oh, don't grouse, Surfer Clock. It must be because I'm not moving. Is that it? T-Rexes can't see me if I don't move? Say nothing of a T-Rex's awesome sense of smell. Is that it? Which is it, huh? Your movies are so accurate, I forget.
Round 4, the thrills. Which ride provides the greatest thrills and why?
Well, here's one thing that this attraction definitely has going in its favor. It's the fact that it's all indoors and in the dark. Not only does this hide the mechanics of these dinosaurs much better than, a grate under a giant sauropod, but you can also highlight and unhighlight whichever dinosaurs you want. Like when your vehicle decides to stop and all of a sudden the lights come on, you see the Carnotaurus towering over you. A lot of this really hinges on the element of surprise in the dark. And because you're bumping and bouncing around in the jungle, I mean, all they really need is some branches whapping people on the sides, and you've got a full effect of something is about to happen. Almost a Five Nights at Freddy's thing going. And there are some dark moments on Jurassic Park River Adventure, but it really doesn't utilize it to the best of its ability.
Okay, now to the defense of the River Adventure, I say that the thrill is actually that you're seeing these dinosaurs and that you are close enough to almost touch them. The thrill comes from the fact that you're being able to behold these giants in all their glory and wonder. Even if their movements aren't so great, I still think a lot of younger kids get a really great thrill out of seeing these monsters truly and fully realized. Now, as far as the stories, as far as the ride's story itself, which we'll get to a little bit later, the thrill kind of comes a little bit too from that long buildup that you have, starting from that inciting event where you get bumped toward the raptor containment facility.
Don't get me started just yet.
But yeah.
Oh, and then there's that the raptor cage that almost falls on you.
Yeah, I mean that's a little bit. I mean that's a little thrilling, and I think one of the smaller cool effects that's kind of like ooh. But honestly, and the most marketed part of this ride is that last drop.
Yeah.
Now that last drop is a pretty major thrill. It's 84 feet tall. It's almost taller than Dudley Do-Right Ripsaw Falls. But it's that Rex that comes right at you at the end. You feel like you're going to go right into his mouth, but then you kind of drop down into the water. Whew. It's a great climax, and that's what you go for, is that thrill.
I said it before and I'll say it again. When I go on the Great Movie Ride, my least favorite part is when the aliens pop out of the ceiling and you're going by it so slowly that it's actually building up the tension that you're going by these things that want to eat you and eviscerate you. And that builds up the tension for me. In a very similar way, but the opposite of that is on Jurassic Park, where you're going in a boat that does not speed up or slow down, and you're going towards this big threat, where you're far enough away from it that it just kind of builds in your mind like, oh, he's there, he's scary, and by the time you're at the top of the drop, you're like, yawn. It doesn't do anything. I don't know why, but maybe it's because the aliens are always right there, and it look like they're about to pounce on you any second, whereas the T-Rex just kind of lingers there like, tiny Rex arms can't reach. I don't know. Ultimately, I think because Dinosaur uses the element of surprise and the darkness more than Jurassic Park does, they have an edge on the thrills.
All right, point goes to Dinosaur.
And winner goes to Dinosaur!
That's
Let's say chaos again. One more time. Try me.
life finds a way.
Alright, last round. Story. Which ride tells the better story?
Alright, come on. Now, this is a ride that's based off of a storied franchise written by the great and late Michael Crichton. Dude knows how to weave a good tale. So you would think that this would translate over to the Jurassic Park River Adventure. And while ride design and story design are sometimes pretty different, I think that the pre-show does well in establishing the ride's premise, of course. You know, you have John Hammond up there, and he's telling you, this is the realization of my dream. You're all here to be a part of it. You're going to ride on these rivers. You're going to see these amazing creatures. And you know what? That's a really great premise for a ride. You're going to see dinosaurs. What could be better than that? And then, of course, there's the plot itself, where you go along, you're cruising on the river, the dinosaur kind of bumps your boat, and it brings you toward the raptor containment unit, which presents that element of danger, that element of, oh, now something's really going wrong. And then you go into the water treatment facility, you're going up, and you see this Rex there, and oh my gosh, you know it's coming. And then finally you get there, you plunge right down. And, you know, it's a pretty solid plot for a ride. And I mean, it's definitely serviceable. It may not be the greatest plot, but it is a solid plot for a ride. Now, what you'll notice I haven't said is that it's a good story, which, unfortunately, because you drop off right there at the end and then nothing happens. It's a good premise, it's a good plot. Unfortunately, I just can't defend the story. And that's for one reason and one reason alone. The story never concludes. You're never told by Mr. Hammond, oh, I'm sorry that really happened. I guess we'll have to try a little harder to contain them next time. And just missing that element of, oh, something happened, we're really sorry. Nothing happens. You're pretty much just, you get to plunge down and then you go to the gift shop and it's like it never happened. And any good story needs a resolution, something that you kind of take away from the story. You don't get that. You get a climax and you plunge on down, but you continue to plunge down because there's no resolution to kind of balance things out.
Whereas compared to Dinosaur, where you are an active participant, you are visiting this museum that says, hey, we're trying out this new technology, we want you to come along for the ride. And then all you have is this overly ambitious guy, Dr. Grant Seeker. I just got it. Grant Seeker.
Me too.
So anyway, he sends you back to the Cretaceous, just as opposed to the early Cretaceous, you know, where it's much safer. And then things just kind of get out of hand from there. You do your mission, you rescue the iguanodon, you get back, and there is a resolution. It's minor. It's the video cameras that show you, you know, the dinosaur roaming around the exhibit, Dr. Marsh trying to find him, and Seeker trying to escape security. It is a good story, and even if there's like minor plot holes here and there, I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but everything just kind of works out perfectly. You know, at the end, what's left to do but just kind of let you back into the real world? What, sign a non-consent or something? But yeah, and as opposed to River Adventure where, you know, like you said, the denouement after you go down the splash is just pitiful that they don't even offer anything.
Yeah, it's nothing, and that really actually kind of annoys me.
You kind of have to expect that, oh, something, apology or something. But I think the only thing that bothers me just as much is the inciting incident. Because for a while I've been wanting to do a top 10 inciting incidents in theme park rides. Because we all know the trope of, hey, let's try something experimental. Something goes wrong in theme park rides. And this one is by far probably one of the dumbest ones I've ever heard. You get bumped by a hadrosaur into the most dangerous exhibit in all of Jurassic Park, which doors are conveniently open. And it's just terrible. I mean, there's ways you can do it. If they had done it in a Jeep or something, maybe they could have worked this out like the original plans were. But honestly, I don't know. Just ultimately, Dinosaur just has a far better story. Even if both have good plots and good scenarios, Jurassic Park just did not do it for me. Dinosaur does the much better story.
All right, I guess if we don't have a really good conclusion to the story for River Adventure, as much as it pains me to say it, point goes to Dinosaur.
And so, the winner in a clean sweep of 5-zip, Dinosaur!
Oh, no. hard feelings, SurferClock. Just because you have one of the highest grossing franchises of all time doesn't mean you have to have a great ride. Sometimes all it takes is a middling quality movie, right? Right?
None whatsoever, bud. Bygones and all that. Say, I hate to ask, but could you grab me something from the driveway?
Sure, what?
Oh, it's under the tarp. You'll see it.
Okay, be right back.
What's going on?
Observe.
Holy smoke! It's a DeLorean!
I am very confused.
Just get the bag of caramel corn out of the microwave and enjoy the unfolding events.
Oh my goodness, aren't you an ugly looking dinosaur? Wait, you're the T-Rex from the old Back to the Future, right, aren't you? Oh, this? Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing, I swear. No, seriously, that was a guy named Biff. Ask anyone. I never even wrote it. Help!
Best $50 I ever spent.
Best $50 I ever got.
Is he going to be okay?
You want a song? Is that it? Roll back the rock to the dawn. Ah!